Hey y'all, I'm back from my 17-year hiatus, and I bet you didn't even notice, but that's okay. I forgive you. I figured since Halloween and Samhain, Dia de los Muertos is swiftly upon us, I figured it was a good time to wise from my grave. Oh wait, that's another game. Not quite as fun as Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Developed by LucasArts and Konami, remember them, in the far-off year of 1993. It was released for the Sega Genesis and the SNES. I'm playing the SNES version here. And so the real question, and probably why you're watching this video, is the game still worth playing today in 2024? Well, let's discuss that, and let's find out. So the graphics are of the early 90s variety with some cute sprites and mild levels of violence. The backdrops vary from stage to stage, but use interesting variation as time goes on. Your character, either the boy or the girl, traverses neighborhoods, castles, abandoned mines, and shopping centers. Places normal teens hang out at. The 16-bit sprites work well for the game and give it a cute vibe, but not overly so to distract from the killing of zombies and preventing them from eating the neighbors. If they're my neighbors, I just let them have it, but I don't want zombies to get sick out there. The neighbors include a baby, which is mysteriously on its own, as you can clearly see there. Some military guys, some dude hanging out in the pool, literally drinking a drink while zombies are, tearing apart his neighborhood, and others building a nice variety to the action. It begs the question if these neighbors are just blind, or they don't care that zombies are tearing up their neighborhood. Maybe it's an HOA or something. Now, there are a bunch of different creatures that you can run into, with the zombies, werewolves, and even evil axe-wielding Chucky knockoffs. And then there's still more, like Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, and some other mythical creatures as well. Okay, and we'll circle back to the music, but as you can tell, it is pretty insanely catchy, and I'll have to mute myself when we get to a certain level. But it will have you whistling the tune long after you turn it off. Now, the boss themes are pretty appropriate, never seem to get on my nerves like a lot of the music from the era. It comes in clear, and the sound effects are pretty nice too, including the little voice work of them getting hit by a zombie, or the weapon sounds are probably the best I've heard in a while. You can hear the water gun go off. Every weapon has its own distinct sound, and then even the enemies have their own sounds as well, especially the chainsaw wielding maniacs that are rejects from Camp Crystal Lake. That show up in some levels, and it keeps you on edge, and I feel like that is super effective on how that works. Now, the gameplay is what I suspect most of you are here for, and this is where the cracks of the game start to show rear their ugly head. The game is fun with two people and can be a great experience with passwords to continue the game if you choose. This is part of the two-pronged problem with the game, is that the difficulty and how long the game can be. At nearly 60 levels, that is pretty darn long, and you feel it like in your bones after about an hour or so. And while there is a password system, it is effectively useless, because it will drop you on the stage with just your water gun and a med pack, and that's absolutely it. That's fine for the first couple levels, but as soon as you get past level 20 or so, it makes it borderline impossible to pick up. It creates a sense that you have to one-shot the game, and it makes the game kind of a slog to replay by yourself. It's always a fun game to play with somebody, but if you're playing by yourself, that could severely be detrimental to you. Now, because the game does get mind-bendingly difficult, after about level 20 or so, it does get to a point where you will get beaten, and if you watch my raw footage, that's where I got bogged down as well. But the bosses are probably the worst part of all that, because they are fairly unfair. Unless you have a monster potion or you are armed to the teeth, it is hard to take them down, whether it's the Titanic Toddler or the Sandworms. While those are cool bosses within their own right, it makes it difficult if you don't have the right weaponry or strategy to take them out there. Now, so as we go through this channel, or whatever you may want to call it, me having fun just talking crap about these games, but it does fall into this category that I call the rig rental. And if you don't know what a rig rental is, it is a game that is artificially difficult so that it forces folks to rent it more from Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, or to purchase the game outright. And Konami is one of the biggest offenders of that. And while it is a rigged rental in the sense that you can't necessarily just one-shot it, if it's your first time playing, it's going to take you a while to get to the end. And the password system is effectively useless. I still love this game. This game is difficult. It's worth it. And the question that's on everybody's mind is it still worth playing in 2024? Heck yeah, it is. Especially if you have a friend or something like that. Now, I know that not everyone has a Super Nintendo or a Sega Genesis, but it is available on the Switch with its spiritual sort of sequel, but not really sequel, Ghoul Patrol, that was released a little while ago. So if that's a way to play it, then check it out, and then you can certainly do that. So I would recommend the title. It's one of my favorite games to play for the spooky season, especially with a friend, because that is a couple hours of great fun that you're going to have, and evokes memories of me playing with my brother back in the day as well. So I do recommend it, and that's all I got for today. But happy gaming and spooky times ahead.